Level 1. 300. A tow truck backs into the church parking lot in the middle of your daughter's baptism. You watch it through the stained glass, holding the baby. The chain goes tight. Your pickup lifts nose first off the gravel. Your whole family turns from the font to watch it go. You're 24. Credit score, 300. In 15 years, that number says 850, and banks pay you to show up. Today, your own phone is in your wife's name, and the power company wants $300 just to keep your lights on. That's your score. In dollars. Sunday dinner. Marcus, your wife's brother, approves mortgages for a living. He does your life in napkin math, clicks his bank pen, and says it to the table. You don't have bad credit. You are bad credit. AE. Nobody laughs. That's worse. Sarah's hand finds your knee under the table. You hold on. The bank's letter comes Thursday. You drop it in a shoebox under the bed. Then you steal Marcus's pen off the table. He has a drawer of them. You have plans. One day, Marcus needs your signature to rent an apartment, and the revenge line is right there, aged 9 years. You could say it. 10 more letters join that shoebox first. The last one doesn't come from a bank. It isn't even for you. Who is it for? Level 2. 450. You're at the credit union counter, counting $200 in 20s onto the laminate. 2 weeks of overtime, stacked in front of a woman named Gail. Gail runs the desk, reading glasses on a chain, and she explains it slow. A secured card works like this. You give the bank $200, and the bank lends you your own $200 back. You pay a deposit to borrow your own money. That's the deal at this level, and Gail doesn't pretend it's a good one. She says it's the only one. You sign the paperwork with Marcus's pen. On purpose. The card comes in 10 days. Flat gray plastic, your name in letters, with no shine on them. It has a $200 limit, and you treat it like a loaded thing. Gas only. $30 a month. Here's the ritual nobody warns you about. You buy the gas, drive home, and pay the balance the same night, standing at the kitchen counter with your phone. You don't trust the due date yet. Every rebuilder stands in a kitchen like this. Meanwhile, the deposit follows you around town, like a fee for existing. The phone store wants $500 to put a line in your own name. A landlord wants double. You count deposits the way other people count savings, because at $450, they are your savings held by strangers. Everybody at this level is rich. The money just lives at other people's banks, in your name, as an apology. Then a collector calls your warehouse about the truck balance. Your supervisor hands you the phone with a look. On the loading dock, a forklift guy named Ray, rebuilt his own credit after a divorce, teaches you the phrase that matters. Pay for delete. Settle the debt, get it in writing, and the black mark comes off the report. Ray says the words like a man giving directions out of a neighborhood he knows too well. Sarah, your wife, watches you write the plan on the back of an envelope at the kitchen table. She says the true thing's flat, and she says one now. The bank doesn't forgive, it just forgets slow. So you feed the forgetting. 6 months of gas and same night payments. 6 months of nothing interesting, which is the whole trick. The score comes back, 450. You open the shoebox under the bed and write the number inside the lid in marker. There's room on that lid, and you leave it on purpose, space enough to climb all the way to 850. A man can have a scoreboard nobody else knows about. Dee's second gas card shows up in the mail that week. $10. Sticky note in her round handwriting. For the tank. Proud of you. Your kid sister is 19, and she is currently the only institution in America extending you credit for free. You tape the note inside the lid, next to the number. The lights are on. The deposit's still out there, working for the enemy. Level 3. 520. The salesman at the buy here, pay here car lot approves you in 9 minutes. That's the bad news. At 5:20, the doors start opening again, and every one of them has a toll booth behind it. This lot off the highway doesn't check if you can pay. It checks if you can be charged. You can. The car is a gray Malibu, $6,000. Decent bones. The loan is 24%. You do the math right there on the hood. By the last payment, this $6,000 car will have cost you $5,000 of pure interest, a tax paid to a version of you that no longer exists. You sign anyway, eyes open. Here's why. There's a dispatcher job across town, a desk, a salary, and the bus doesn't go there. The car buys the interview. The interview buys everything after. Sometimes the trap and the ladder are the same piece of metal. 11 years from now, a bank will beg you to take its money. Today the lot charges you 24% to take theirs. Same you, different number. Tax season. You go hunting. You call the collector holding the old truck debt and settle $1,900 with the refund. Pay for delete. In writing, like Ray taught you on the dock. The confirmation letter comes in a thin envelope. It goes in the shoebox under the bed. The only good paper in there. A prisoner released. Then comes the birthday dinner. Sarah's mom turns 60 at a chain steakhouse, the whole family in a long booth. When the check lands, Marcus reaches for it the way he reaches for everything, like it was already his. The waitress comes back quiet. Marcus's card declined. Marcus blames the chip. Taps the card on the table twice, says the bank's been having system issues. Laughs a half second too loud. Everyone lets it go. You don't. You know that face from the inside. You wore it at a boot store register with a line behind you. You say nothing, and pass the waitress your gray card. It covers your end. That's all it has to do. In the parking lot after, Sarah watches her brother pull away in a leased German sedan. Sarah says it flat, the way she says all the true things. Everybody's broke somewhere. Some people finance the hiding. You file that one away with the shoebox. Monday, the dispatcher job comes through. A desk, a headset, 40 routes on a screen, and a badge photo where you smile too hard, because it's the first ID in years that isn't about what you owe. The Malibu sits in the employee lot, overpriced and running. Score, 520. You write it in the lid. The interest is still bleeding you, but now you're bleeding on salary. Level 4, 580. There's a lease on the kitchen counter of an empty apartment, and the only name on it is yours. The landlord wanted a double deposit, 2 months instead of 1, the toll for a 580. You paid it. But you're standing inside the apartment, the deposit bought, and that's new. You read your own name on the lease twice, out loud, in an empty kitchen. Nobody's there to think it's strange. At the credit union, Gail slides you a pamphlet with a house on it. FHA loans, it says. Homeownership can start at 580. You didn't ask for it. Gail gives it to you anyway, the way a coach hands a kid a schedule for a season he hasn't made yet. The pamphlet goes home and gets taped inside the shoebox lid, next to the marker numbers. 580 isn't a number, it turns out. It's a word. Threshold. At work, it's a different game now. The money pressure eases, and the ego pressure moves in to rent the space. In the break room, the other dispatchers drop heavy metal cards on the lunch table like poker chips. You still pay with the flat gray secured card. A new trainee squints at it and asks if that's one of those starter cards. You say yes, out loud. It costs you nothing. Sit with that, because it's the actual level up. 2 years ago, a declined card at a register almost folded you in half. Today, yes, it's a starter card, comes out level, and the trainee just nods and eats his chips. Shame compounds like interest. Somewhere on the climb, you stopped making the payments on it. Easter, at Sarah's mom's house, is the test. Ham, folding chairs, and Marcus at the head of the table asking about your credit like a doctor asking about a rash. You tell him 580. Marcus pats his shirt pocket for his bank pen, finds it, clicks it once. 580? That's a participation trophy. Call me when you're bankable. The table chuckles. Sarah squeezes your knee under the table, which is its own whole sentence. You don't tell Marcus about the pamphlet in the shoebox. Doors you don't announce can't be laughed at. Then the bank makes its first unforced move. A letter arrives. The secured card has graduated. Your $200 deposit comes back as a check, and the gray card becomes a real one, $1,000 limit, no hostage required. Sarah reads the letter twice at the kitchen table and names the machine while you hold the check. They don't raise the limit because they like you. They raise it because you stopped being cheap to hate. The $200 goes in the shoebox. Evidence. Score in the lid. 580. You're not bankable yet. You're something more dangerous. You're patient. Level 5. 640. Never let the statement catch you above 30%. Ray says it on the loading dock, on your last week before the dispatch office goes full-time. Like a man handing over a family recipe. Here's what Ray means. In plain money, a $1,000 limit means the card should never show more than 300 used on the day the statement prints. The score doesn't watch your whole month. It takes one snapshot, statement day, and judges the photo. So you pay the card down before the statement date, not the due date. Nobody warns you about that part. It's the difference between fair and good, and it's printed nowhere. You set phone alarms like a nurse on rounds. Sarah finds the list on the kitchen counter. Statement dates. 3 cards now, circled in marker. Then you go back to the credit union and put the Malibu on the table. Gail refinances the 24% loan down to 11. Same car, same you, $180 a month cheaper. The past is still riding shotgun, but the past is getting cheaper to carry. Now the want. You and Sarah park across from a brick house with a yard, a for sale sign leaning in the grass. $210,000. You sit at the kitchen table that night and run the pre-qualification. The math answers politely, which is worse. At 640, they'll give you the loan. At 640, the rate adds $340 a month compared to what a 740 pays. Same house, same street. Fair credit means you're approved and taxed at the same desk. Sarah reads the printout and says it flat. Fair credit means they trust you enough to charge you more. The pre-qualification letter goes in the shoebox. Denial letter number 9, if you're keeping count. You are. The mail keeps coming, friendlier now. 3 pre-approved card offers in 1 week, your name in bold confetti fonts. At Fair, you're not a risk anymore. You're a product. You shred 2 at the kitchen counter and keep 1 with cash back. Even the one you keep has a leash coiled inside the rewards. You know it. You take it anyway. Knowing is the discount. Saturday is Dee's graduation party. Backyard, folding tables, an associate degree in a frame. Dee is 23 now. Halfway through the cake line, your kid sister palms you something like contraband, $10 gas card. You catch Dee's wrist, and she says it out loud this time, grinning. For the tank. The backyard doesn't get it. You do. 6 years of $10 cards, the only credit line in your life that never charged interest. That night, you tape the house listing inside the shoebox lid, next to the FHA pamphlet. You tell Sarah, 18 months, score in the marker, 640. The house said no politely. You plan to make it repeat itself. Level 6. 700. The score crosses 700 at 12:01 in the morning on a Tuesday. In the kitchen, phone glow on your face. 18 months of statement date alarms. On the dot, Sarah's asleep. Nobody claps. You stand there in the dark kitchen, a long minute anyway, phone in hand, because you know what the number was when you started. You paid a boot store in cash once. Rooms remember. So do you. Then the world starts getting quietly cheaper, and nobody sends a memo. The car insurance renewal comes in $40 a month lighter. You didn't call anyone. The insurance company reruns your score on its own schedule and reprices you while you sleep. It was pricing you the whole time, at 300, at 520, at 640. You just never saw the meter. The phone store, the same chain that wanted a $500 deposit, waves you through an upgrade with no deposit at all. The kid at the counter doesn't even look up. The deposit is dying, and it dies the way it lived, without ever saying anything to your face. Closing day. A title office with cold coffee and a stack of paper thick as a phone book. The brick house, FHA, $12,600 down. Inside that cashier's check, on purpose, is the $200 from the shoebox. The same $200 the bank once held hostage for a gray card. First bill in. You made sure. You sign every page with Marcus's pen. Click it once when you finish. The title lady thinks you're sentimental about pens. Sarah knows better and says nothing. Same season, the dispatch company folds your route region, and the owner offers you the client book, every account you've been running, for a price. The score you built says a personal loan can cover it. You sit at the new kitchen table in the brick house until 2 in the morning, then sign. There's no undo on this page. The score isn't guarding a family anymore. It's guarding a payroll. First night in the house, boxes everywhere. You walk the hallway and check the front door locks twice. The second time isn't about burglars. Dee pulls into the driveway Saturday with a red gas can, laughing at her own joke before she's out of the car. For the mower you don't own yet. Same gesture, new size, your kid sister standing in your actual yard. Then Sarah's mom, helping unpack dishes in the kitchen, lets a thing slip about Marcus. He's listed his house. Downsizing, she says. The word he gave her. You look out the window at your own yard. In this market, nobody downsizes on purpose. You file it next to the declined card, and the taps on the table. A shape is assembling, and you didn't draw it. Sarah stands in the empty living room that night, keys still in her hand. They look us up, she says, flat. And it finally says what you paid. Score in the lid, 700. Level 7. 740. The bank calls you by your first name now, and they say it like they're glad. At 740, the business runs on the scores back. In your dispatch office, you sign for a fleet fuel card and a $40,000 credit line. The fuel stops bill you at the end of the month instead of upfront. That's the whole upgrade in one sentence. They let you pay later because they finally believe you'll pay it all. Trust, priced, and printed. Then the mortgage. You refinance the FHA loan into a conventional one at the top tier rate, and the payment drops by $340 a month. Read that number again. $340. The exact toll the 640 version of you was quoted at the kitchen table. The house didn't change. The street didn't change. You became the other people, the ones who get the rate. It took 9 years. The offer's reverse direction too. Banks mail you signing bonuses now. $200 to open a checking account, $500 for a card. The deposit has flipped sides of the counter. They pay you to show up. Thanksgiving at Sarah's mom's house is where the other ledger comes due. Marcus arrives late, quieter, and the word that follows him through the kitchen is restructured. His branch got consolidated. Marcus pats his shirt pocket for the bank pen, twice, out of habit. The pocket is empty. He tells a story about consulting opportunities, and nobody laughs on time, and the not laughing is louder than the story. You watch him from the counter, holding a dinner roll you forgot to eat, the declined card, the listed house, the empty pocket. You've been assembling this shape for 3 years, and here it is at the table, wearing a golf shirt. Then the mirror. Monday. In your office, on a vendor call, a subcontractor named Carl is late on an invoice. You catch yourself running Carl's numbers out loud to your operations guy. Napkin math on a man's worth, one eyebrow up. Marcus's cadence. In your mouth, in your office. You stop mid-sentence. You give Carl the route anyway, and you hang up before the old voice can come back. That night, at the kitchen table, the phone rings. D. She's 28 now, and her landlord is selling the building. She's got a 585 and a pamphlet, the same pamphlet, the threshold one. D narrates all of it in a bright voice and asks you for exactly nothing. She never asks. You listen to your kid sister, do the math you did at 580, alone, out loud, cheerful. You hang up and sit still. Sarah, drying dishes at the sink, names it without turning around. She sent you gas money for 6 years. She's not asking now because she watched what asking cost you. Score in the lid, 740. There's one letter left the shoebox is waiting on. It doesn't come from a bank. Level 8. 780. You're at the kitchen counter with a $10 gas station gift card and a sticky note writing 3 words in marker, for the tank. It goes in the mail to D on a Tuesday. Wednesday night she calls and cries about a $10 card, and you both sit on the phone pretending it's about the card. Then you fly her rebuild the way Gail once flew yours, step for step. Secured card, $200 down. Statement dates, not due dates. $30 of gas a month, paid the same night in her own kitchen. D takes notes like it's a class, because it is. It's the class nobody taught either of you. Meanwhile, the banks have started courting you like it's prom. Thick envelopes, private client this, preferred that. A banker named Priya calls to review the relationship, and her voice does the thing bank voices do at 780. It asks permission. You are the deposit now. Institutions put money down just to hold you. Then Sunday dinner at Sarah's mom's house, and the bill for 9 years comes to the table. Sarah's mom says it carefully, over the pot roast, not looking up. Marcus needs a cosigner. The bridge loan on the house that never sold went bad, and his credit went down with it. No landlord will put an apartment in his name. The table goes quiet. Marcus stares at his plate like it owes him money. And there it is, in your mouth, the line you've kept warm for 9 years, aged perfect, the whole room set for it. You don't have bad credit, Marcus. You are bad credit. You can feel the weight of it on your tongue like a coin. Here's what nobody tells you about revenge. You wanted a fire. What you feel instead is paperwork. You put your hand out for the lease application. You take out Marcus's own bank pen, the one you've carried since a napkin 9 years ago. You click it twice, so he sees it. Then you sign. Cosigner. Your name under his, holding it up. Understand what that signature is, in plain money. If Marcus misses rent, it lands on you. You just set a phone alarm for another grown man's rent. That's what winning turned out to look like. Marcus watches you not say the line. He watches the whole time. That's the entire event, and it's enough. On the porch after, The two of you stand alone in the cold. Marcus turns the pen over in his hand and says the only honest thing you've ever heard him say. I approved people all day. I never once got approved. You leave the pen with him. The ledger between you closes without a sound. In the car home, headlights on the highway, Sarah says the flat true thing. You didn't sign for him. You signed so you'd stop carrying him. Score in the lid. 780. The revenge you rehearsed cost nothing to keep. The silence was the purchase. Level 9. 850. The 850 arrives on a Tuesday, in the kitchen, as a phone notification sitting under a text from D about barbecue sauce. You show Sarah. Sarah says congratulations the way you'd say it to a man who finished mowing. She's right. That's the size of it. Because here's the truth about perfect credit, and it lands flat, the way true things do. Nothing changes at 850 that hadn't already changed at 780. The rates were already the best rates. The banks were already calling. Perfect credit is a parked trophy. The lenders loved you at very good. The last 70 points were for you. That weekend, you sit on the bedroom floor and take inventory of the shoebox. 11 denial letters. Oldest one from a boot store register. The $200 check stub the bank finally gave back. The FHA pamphlet. The brick house listing. Sun-faded. And sticky note after sticky note in round handwriting. 6 years of them. For the tank. The cruel option is right there. And you name it out loud, so we're honest. Frame the 11 letters for the office wall. Mail the oldest one to Marcus. No note. He'd know. It would cost a stamp, and it would feel like a fire for about a day. You put the rubber band back on the letters. Declined. Some approvals you give yourself. Saturday is the cookout. Your backyard, your grill. Both families and half the block. Loud in the good way. The folding tables came from Sarah's mom's garage. The kids' table has nobody at it because the kids are chasing the dog. Dee pulls into the driveway in a car she financed herself. Before she's fully out of it, she's reading you her interest rate off her phone like a report card. 6.9. She did it on statement dates and gas tanks. The long way, your way, Gail's way. At the grill, you hand your kid sister the shoebox. Lid open. Marker numbers climbing the inside. 450 to 850. The pamphlet, the listing, every sticky note she ever sent. You tell Dee it's so her kids will know the floor existed. Dee, who never once cried over her own broke years, stands at the grill and cries over paper. Marcus is here too, at the edge of the yard, plate in his hand, quiet. Rent's been on time 8 months. You catch his eye and give him a nod, and he gives it back, and that's the whole transaction. Some accounts you just stop checking. Sarah finds you at the grill, puts a hand on your back, looks out at the yard full of people eating your food. She says the last flat true thing. The score was never the ladder. It was the receipt. The shoebox sits open on Dee's table like a trophy case for paper. The deposit era is over. You wanted to be trusted. Look at the yard.